So my domain controller, guys, is in a very good shape. It is the domain controller I was using before. And just, you see, I already opened to see the SIDs. And you see the one for this administrator is finishing on 321. This one for my router is finishing to 658. And the one here finishing for finishing actually of let's see it again, 310. So all of them are absolutely different, and as you see, I have internet everywhere. So actually, if I ping Google from everywhere, well, I already pinged it actually, so here it is. No problem, from the client and from the other one, and both of them are on different networks, right? They're on different networks. Here it is, this pinging too. And if I check the network of this one, ipconfig, you see this one is 110. And if I check this one here, if someone here actually, if I do ipconfig, you see this one is 220, as it's supposed to be. And my routers are 100.1 and 100.20. So far so good. So what I need to do, this one, as you see though, actually let me show it to you. See, well, or if I do like that, if I do who am I, you see it's not part of a domain. You see it's from the workgroup. It is BDC's domain. It's not the one. So what I already did here these settings properly. So what I'll do, I'll change the adapter settings, and I'll you see my primary DNS server is 110, and my secondary DNS server here indeed is the computer itself. So 127.0.0.1. Here it is. I did it. So everything is done properly, and that's why actually this guy has a network internet by name Unable, because it's resolving. Here it is once again. If I do NS lookup, I already did it. You see it's resolving via this, the red guy. So let's create a backup domain controller out of this guy. So let's see. You know how we're gonna do it. We'll say add roles and features, role-based or feature-based, whatever we say next here. That's a very good point. Now we're gonna implement the Active Directory domain services. We need to add all the features as usual. Then we're gonna say next, next. We will restart when needed. We say install, and after the installation of the domain services, it will ask me to promote to a domain controller, and basically it will allow me to become a backup domain controller indeed. I hope that makes sense. We've been doing it so far many times, guys.
Thanks for joining me in finding out who is hacking me. Now, take a look behind. We're in it.
Sorry, I'm checking for a video, and it's from time to time is starting other videos.
In a
it will be stopped now. This to happen, what I will do, I'll open the DNS here first. That would be the first thing we will be working with, and I will remove the old records for you know, for the 20, right? This one is not available anymore, guys. This one is the BDC is not anymore there. Okay, so I'm gonna remove this. So I'm gonna just delete this. I could change it, of course, but for now I would like to do it from the scratch, right? The client I'm not gonna remove for now. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna delete from but as you see, it's already deleted actually in the reverse zone. So the first thing what I need to do is the DNS. Afterwards, I'll fix the dhcp, and afterwards the DFS, and so on and so forth. I'll do all of these things again. So this one is almost to the end, I guess. So we just click on here, promote to a server, this server to a domain controller. So I'm clicking here on this backslash, and if you remember, what I need to do here is to click add new domain to an existing forest, right? No, well, actually, add a domain controller to an existing domain. What is the default option? That's what I need to choose, right? So that's what I'm gonna do here. And I'm gonna call it, well, I need to select the domain, right? And that would be test .local. So I'm gonna click here and select the domain. And basically what I need to do is to say here test administrator, and of course I need to put the password for the administrator. Say OK. Now we need to retrieve the domain from the forest, and here it is. Even though I'm on a different subnet, as you see, no problem with this. I'll say next on this, and I just do the same way I did before the backup domain controller. I'm gonna just finish the installation. I'll reboot, and indeed it will be okay after this, we hope. So I need to choose the password. As you see, because it is the second one, it says that it has been found already. I just need to click here. That's a particular case in the moment, right? It's only particular case because I already installed it. Normally you're not gonna be asked for this, and default first site is the site name, which is supposed to be there, and I'm gonna choose a password as usual, the same one, even though it's a kind of security flaw, but I'm doing it because we're in a lab. Of course, we cannot do the delegation, and we're gonna go further. Now it says either, if you remember, there were two options. If I created the media, I could install it from the media, and it's asking from where to replicate. Well, I'm gonna say the specific domain controller, which is the PDC. Here it is. And that's a server test.local. That's what I want to be done. Now it will find out the databases, and basically everything. Once again, everything is the same like before, guys. Now I'll copy the script so to have it. I'll put it on my C drive here, as I did already with this one here. If you remember, it is when I installed the primary domain controller, I put it on my C drive, and here it is. That's the script. And if I would like to install it from the PowerShell, I could use this script. Here it is. That's for primary domain controller. And The one which I'm gonna which I'm gonna use now will be for the backup domain controller. So I'm gonna save it. Actually, I'm gonna save file, save as, and I'll put it on my hard drive again. And this one will be BDC script. Yeah, I'm gonna save it, and it's done. And now I could say next here, and I could finish the installation after the prerequisite check successfully. Hopefully, we will be able to finish it. The prerequisite seems fine. I'll say install, and now I'm gonna wait to reboot and to log in backend, basically to start. First thing, obviously, I need to refresh my DNS and so on and so forth. Proceed with the recording. So what we do here is okay. Now, as you see, it's part of the already is part of the group there. And actually, I could see if there is a replication. If you remember, there was a command which I could execute. If you remember, repadmin sync all AD, E, and P. I don't know why they use capitals here. Indeed, it is okay. As you see, it says sync all finished, everything is done. You see, and I'm gonna try it on the other side as well. But as you see, there is synchronization between the both servers here, which is something we wanted to have, obviously, right? So I'm gonna open here on my. And meanwhile, I will open on my primary domain controller, open my dhcp, and I will work around the dhcp. Here it is. And if you remember, I created already a scope, and this scope was, here it is. My scope was 192.168.110. And if you remember, there were some options here. Let's check them just to be sure everything is fine. So I'm gonna click on the scope option. Actually, when I see router, well, that's not the good one. The router is supposed to be, if you remember, now we changed it. I'm gonna remove this one, and I'm gonna put here 1 instead. That's my router, right? So I need to add this one. That's one thing to do. So I'm gonna do apply, and I'm gonna say okay. DNS servers, well, the other DNS server has been changed, right? So let's first check the DNS though, right? So on the DNS we need to check if we would have, well, let's add this one, or let's first refresh. Reload the zone and then refresh. And let's refresh now. And you see BDC just appeared here, right? 220. just appeared. As well as let's refresh, let's reload the reverse zone, and let's refresh either two. And now let's refresh it. Here it is. Now let's create the reverse lookup zone also, because that's for 2010 obviously, but we need one from for the other one. So let me just be sure this one here will be in my reverse zone. Oh, okay, so that's we know the reason. Remember, that's not the good one, right? So we need to delete this zone, and we need to recreate it again, right? So we're gonna recreate this one. So we're gonna say new zone. We're gonna say next, primary zone, IP version, and we're gonna create it at 192.168.100, right? And we're gonna finish it. And basically, what we need to do is to create another zone, right? We have 200 now, so new zone, and we're gonna say 192.168, 200. That's our second zone. So we expect our records to be put it respectively, right? So what I'm gonna do now, I'll come here and I'll go to my server, and I'm gonna try doing it again. Properties. So I'm gonna update. I'll say apply. I'm gonna say apply. Now no problem, as you see. Then I'll go to the BDC and I'll do the same. Apply. Apply. And then I'm gonna go to my first reverse zone. I'm gonna reload. I'm gonna refresh. And what I'm expecting is appearing. And I'm gonna do the same here now, right? Reload. And I'm gonna refresh. Now that's the first thing you do. Here it is. So that's that you do it, and from this moment forward, from this zones, it will be done automatically. You don't need to do anything anymore. You have something which is directly connected or joined to the domain, it will put its records automatically. So that's what means DNS to be in good shape. So we know our our computers are here, and everything's in a very, very good shape, and its records are in the forward zone and in the reverse zone as well. So I'm gonna close this thing. I don't need it anymore. And now I'm gonna add this one. So I'm gonna add IP address of 200 here. And indeed, what I would do, I would look for this. I would say bdc.test.local. So I'm gonna look for this one. Say resolve. And as you see, it's finding it out. Actually, it doesn't find it out by itself. I'm not sure at all. And I'm gonna say add. So now it will validate it. And here it is. Now it's adding it. So it found it. Because I did it manually, I wasn't able to confirm it is okay. So here's the two DNS servers which will be provided to any machine. The first and the second one, the backup one. So I'm gonna say okay. And the domain name is fine. That's the test.local. Just once again to double check here to be sure everything is fine. And this one here on the router, everything's perfect. So this is my scope 1. Okay, now let's create the next scope. We will need the next scope, obviously, right? So the next scope will be created very easy. We will say new scope, right click and new scope, and we're gonna create the same way. 192.168.200.0, that would be the scope. The start IP address is usual 192.168.200.200, and the end address 192.168, 200, 250. The same way I did it with the other scope. The subnet mask 255, 255, 255.0. Exclusions, we're gonna skip this, we don't care. The default list will leave. Yes, we would like to configure all the options, and now what they're asking us is the router. Well, for this router, it will be, as you remember, 192.168.200.1. That's the router which is supposed to be given to the member of this network. Now, parent domain will be, and let's test now. It's the name of the DNS we have already, but let's look for it. Let's remove this one for now. Let's look for PDC. And let's look, I don't know what I did, I clicked something wrong, so here it is resolve, and for sure it will find it out. Oops, it says most probably the name is not good. Let's check. So let's see what's going on here. It's server, it's not PDC. Yeah. So it's okay. We call it server. We're gonna resolve. And if there is no error message as we had before, obviously we could add this one. And then don't forget you need to add the other one as well, right? So the other one was BDC. And we do resolve. Here it is. We're gonna add it. And we have everything configured, and we need to actually allow the scope. And now I will demonstrate. Saying next here, we don't care about Win services here. Yes, we would like to activate the scope right away, and the scope is on. Here it is. We're there, guys. Now, even though it's on, it's not active, and I'm gonna demonstrate this right away, guys. So I'm gonna recreate one of these machines which I created yesterday. I deleted them already. This one, remember the CentOS machine. It's working very fast, and it's very easy to work with. It's just for testing. You could use Microsoft machine. For me, it's much faster to do this. So I'm gonna do www1 as I did yesterday. I'll regenerate them now. That's fine. I'll say continue. I'll choose the link clone. And once it's done, I'll just move it outside of the sources here. You see how fast it's done, guys. Indeed, I recreated very easy my server as well because I already have it. So I didn't, I spent 10-15 minutes doing this. Okay, so you don't install anything from the scratch, right? So that's why properly done clonings, and snapshots and cloning out of them is crucial. It's very, very important, guys. It's very important. So let me just double check the tests now. So this one I'm gonna put to the next, I'm gonna put it on the DMZ. So this one is okay, this one is okay, I guess. Yeah, it's okay. Display is fine, storage is fine. Network, internal DMZ, that's what I want. Share folder, everything's fine. So you see how fast this goes. I just less than 2 minutes and it's there. Now once it starts, of course I will recheck the thing there. Here it is starting. Once again, I'm using Linux because for me it's much faster doing it. If you wanna do your, if you don't feel comfortable with Linux, guys, just Windows 10 or another server. Just be sure that you're gonna have enough RAM for your, your machine to work. That's all. So what I'm doing at the moment is to see if I'm gonna get an access from the dhcp. That's what it is, and you will see I'm not gonna have one. I'm not gonna have one. And meanwhile, actually, I wanna also check here while I'm waiting this to finish. I would like to check the replication from my BDC as well. Start the CentOS 7 now and you'll see it closely. And I'll check how it is configured. It's just very slow. So actually I'm going to start the network. You see it's off. So started it. And then I'm going to navigate to the settings. Need everything automatically to be on the as a network configuration, guys. So I'm expecting to receive an IP address. In a normal case, I'm supposed to receive an address. Now, do you still see my screen, guys? Do you see my screen still, guys? So what I need to do here, so let's do IPA. And see, I don't have actually a real IP address. I don't have an IP address. So what I need to do, guys, is to create on my router, I need to create something which is commonly known as it is known as relay. Okay, so this relay will allow me to relay this scope to the other computer, and it will take an IP address then. So let's see how we'll do it. So what we need to say with this relay agent is actually we need to say on which interface we will allow the packets to go from, the DHCP to go from. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. It will appear now, and through it I will go and I will create a new interface. You will see how we'll do it. I'm gonna show it again. So you go to General, right click, New Routing Protocol, and before this there was the DHCP relay agent here. I click on it and I click OK, and it appeared here in the list. Okay, so that's the way you have the relay agent. So what you need to do is to click New Interface. So right click on it again and do New Interface. And then you need to choose one of the interfaces you would like this to have, and in my case it's DMZ. I would like this to be going to the DMZ. Okay, so I'm gonna say DMZ, relay DHCP packet. You see that's what I want, and I'm gonna say OK. And hopefully now we'll see a difference here. Clicking on something most probably. I'm gonna need to restart this one because I have no control over it. My backup domain controller is working perfect together with my primary domain controller. Now let's see after the reboot if we're gonna have this guy's supposed to have actually internet even. Let's see. So if it gets the proper IP addresses from the DHCP server, which will be relayed now through the router. So this guy will relay to it. Will do the relay. We expect everything to be okay in that case, and basically we to have an internet even on this Linux computer, and hopefully and finally I will get rid of it and start working a little bit faster. I don't have anything because I didn't put the server address, and it is 192.168 110. So that's my DHCP server, right? So it's supposed to know about the server. I'm gonna say OK now. Let's see again. Now as you see, guys, I stopped it, but it was here already. Okay, here it is. I would start seeing the packets any moment now. So let's double check. Here it is. So let's open the terminal, check IP address, what we get here, and get rid of this computer, which is freaking slow, guys. Here it is, 192.168.200.201, and if I ping Google, of course, because there are no other restrictions. Yeah, especially to this one won't be able to go, but hopefully to this one, as you see, we are able, guys, to go. So that's what the relay is, and that's how we apply it, right? You need to say which is the server there. So let me just get rid of this guy. Okay, so we're done, and hopefully so I'll reinstall the role of the DFS. It's okay, we know already how to do it, and it was very fast if you remember. And let's do it. It was on the file and iSCSI, and we need to choose the namespace and the replication, if you remember, right? Then all the other settings. By the way, let's check the DNS server here as well, right? Just to be sure everything is on the spot. And if you remember, we forgot to do here also our DHCP. Let's finish with the DHCP actually here. Let's do the DHCP. We needed to click here on the scope itself, and we needed to choose the DHCP configure failover, right? And that would be my server. So I could find out BDC here. I'm gonna say next. Oops. Yeah, we need to install the DHCP here too. So let's finish with the DNS. As we see, guys, everything is here now. It 220, I see everything, guys. And if I go to reverse, well, I have the reverse lookup zone as well, as you see. As you see, it is absolutely the same like on the other side. That's because because of my backup domain controller is working like that. The next thing what I need to do is to do the dhcp as we started. So I need to add the role here. I'm gonna choose the dhcp server, add the features, the ordinary thing. So as you see, it has been done. I'll need to complete the dhcp configuration here. I'll just commit the changes and I'll close this and I'm done. So let's try again now. And that would be the relationship. And as you remember, we want to we don't want this to be done, and we would like the load balance to be available, and now it's okay. And I could do the same for the other scope, right? So I could click on the other scope which I just created, and I could do the same thing. I could say configure failover. Well, in that case, it was this one will be the one for that scope. So I need to say server here. Yeah, actually BDC. And again, we're gonna choose load balance. We don't want this message to be done, and that's all. Here it is. Now I have, I will have all of them. You see, it says successful. So I have my fault tolerance on my dhcp also done, something which I forgot to do. Now I'll proceed with the installation of the role. Oops. We'll proceed with the installation of the role of DFS. I'm gonna just say install, and the DFS role will be fast installed. So I have now my DNS and DHCP completely done and completely configured between the both sites. So it's working awesome. And that could be the case, guys, when you have two branches. Let's say your house and you have an office, and let's say you work with your wife, let's say from home, and you have some employees in the office, and you go from time to time to the office, and you have VPN connection. So you have firewall in one place, only on the other, and you have VPN connection in between. So that's the way you have one Windows server on one side, another one on the other side, and basically what I'm showing you here, you could do it simply. And it's not only if you have more than one office, that's the way to do it. OpenVPN would be ideal for this. If you know when, especially with the DFS, actually what you're gonna do is when you're working locally, and it's synchronizing any 5 minutes or so. So basically you're working locally, and that's why it's very fast. And actually it is specifically designed to work through, you know, very slow WAN or wide area network connections. That's why you will be actually able to work pretty fast. So yes, and by the way, by default, the active domain synchronization something we are doing with the BDC at the moment, actually, but between PDC and BDC, primary domain controller and backup domain controller. Actually, it's using by default DFS, even though it's not installed. Okay, so that's something you need to know. So here's we close this one. Now we're gonna open it from the, here's the DFS management service, and we'll do it as the previous time. Now let's see if we have shared storages here, because these are new computers. We need to create new. Now I'm not gonna I won't create a new hard disk if these are new computers, might not have hard disk. I'm gonna create a shared storage on the C drive. You already know how to do this. On a separate disk is exactly the same thing. So I'm gonna create here. I'm gonna create new folder. I'm gonna call it DFS, or I'm gonna call it actually sharing. That's how I'm gonna call it, sharing. And I'm gonna see on that side as well to be sure that I have something similar. Remember, first thing is to have the shared folders. They might be on a separate disk. Well, it's better the disk to be redundant, if you remember, hot pluggable and so on and so forth, but in my case, I don't really care. I'm gonna use the same one, although it could be different, right? I'm gonna use the same name, but I could use something different, no problem for that. Here it is, both are created now. And what I'm gonna do, apparently, if you remember, first thing first is the namespaces, right? So I need to come to the namespaces. I need to do right-click on namespaces. I need to start new namespaces. I'm gonna call it something. Well, the server, which will be it will be this one, which is called server. This server will host the namespaces, but it is interchangeable. It's not a problem if it's. I could change it anywhere. And now the name of the namespace. If you remember, the last time I used DFS with capital letters, even though there doesn't matter in Windows, I use it only because most of the time all of mine here in my file system folders, they have either start only with capital or are there with small letters. I don't use everything capital, so it will afterwards will be shown. And I'm gonna click Edit Settings here. Okay, and I will choose here in the customs, use custom permission. I'll say customize, and I'll say allow. That's for the, it's in a normal way, in the normal environment you don't do this. You don't give for everyone. In our case it's allowed, just to see it fast how it works. Okay, so we're gonna say okay after this. Now something which I forgot yesterday to show you, see that's the default one which is created. Right, so if I click OK, it will create actually DFS within DFS root. So actually it will create here DFS root also. I don't want this. I would like to use the one which I already have, which is sharing. So what I need to say, in the previous video that's not shown. So I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna click browse, and I'm just gonna change to the sharing. And it will create DFS within the sharing. By the way, I need to make both of these. I forgot to do this. That's the first thing actually you need to do. They need to be really shared, right? So I need to open them and share them. So you remember how this is working. On the permissions, don't forget to choose again. Everyone is okay. Here it is. And I'm gonna do the same on that side. It's slow. I'll choose the sharing here, advanced sharing, share the folder. That's very important, guys. The folder is supposed to be shared, right? Then I'm gonna say the permission. I'm not gonna change anything. You know already how to do it if you want to change and to make it hidden and so on and so forth. When you do it hidden, don't forget afterwards, you need always to put the $sign when you would like to get there. And here it is now, so we could proceed now with this one. So we're gonna choose here sharing. Oh, I tried to choose it, but it didn't work, so I'm gonna click browse again. It does some stuff here, I don't know, it's by itself. Okay, I'm gonna need to I'm gonna close the program because apparently it does some problems here. It's giving me problems. Okay, we're gonna call it DFS as we said here. Then edit the settings as we started. Then browse. Sharing. Use custom. So far, so good, hopefully. I'll say OK. I'll say next. All of this is it shows you how up to now you will access it from any server which is there. Let's see if everything will be done properly. It's done. The next thing what we need to do again on the namespaces is right click, and we need to add namespace server, if you remember. So we need to add the both namespace servers here. First I'm gonna add the BDC. So we need to add the folders, right? The first folder will be the one in the sharing folder. So I'm gonna go sharing. Well, actually, the name of the server is supposed to be put it here. If you remember, I need to put the server here, not the sharing. It's expecting me to. I need to add from the both servers, actually. So here is from the server. It's supposed to show on the folder targets, it's supposed to show the shared folders, including the sharing, and I need to choose it from here. So it's here it is. In the server, I'm gonna choose the sharing. I'm gonna say OK. I'm gonna say here also OK. The next thing I will add from the BDC the same way. I have only sharing folder here, no problem. I'll click OK. So these are from the two servers, and both of them, the sharing on server and BDC sharing, they will be called commonly data, and actually the name will become // test.local /dfs /data. Okay, so that's the idea. That will be the name. I will access them afterwards from everywhere from my domain. Okay, so it will become now, and it will ask me if I want to synchronize something, which I want, obviously. To do the replication, yeah, I'm gonna say yes, please provide me with this ability. And now I'm gonna do the replication. Actually, it will find out most of the thing automatically now. Yeah, it found everything. The replication folder name is there too. I just need to click next here. These are the two servers. Now it will ask me which one will be the primary. Remember, once again, that's always could be changed if some of them goes down. We use the full mesh topology, the bandwidth, just for the lap is full. And basically you need to say create now. and if we see everything green, that means everything will be okay, and we're just gonna wait the replication to occur. Well, the replication to occur, actually we need to do something about it, right? So I need to create something which to be replicated, right? To see visually to see that is working. So I need to open here this one on the sharing. I could do it on the other one as well. It's not necessarily on the primary to be done. Here it is. And I'm going to create a test file, and I'm going to expect this to come on the other side here in the data. Well, actually what I need to do is to go here on the sharing itself. I could actually go directly like that. I could say like that, test.local DFS data. I'm supposed to be able to do this on that side too. So if I tried it, it's supposed to be like that. If I put here, so test.local DFS data, if everything's fine, I'm supposed to see it too. Here it is. Okay, now you see the data actually has been, that's something which remains from the previous time. It is already here actually, so the replication already might occur. I'm going to create a text file just to confirm this. Here it is. I just created it here. Well, actually it's actually the real replication, I don't think it's still there. Let me double check. Between them, so I'm just waiting this, but it will come in any moment. So when I see it on the both side, any moment now, this will appear in about 10 minutes. Let's say it will appear, it will be there. So that's actually the replication's done. And if I change here the name, let's say, it might occur on it will occur on both directions, as you see, right? So if I go here to this local storage as well, we'll see it. But the power of this is that we have the domain namespace, the namespace, I'm sorry, which we accessing from everywhere in our domain. That's the power of it. And when I go sharing, I'm supposed to see, yeah, I see now with the new taste data. So that's the thing, guys. So let me stop it.